there, my name is Kaylee if we've never connected before. Today I'm going to be guiding you through a upper body mobility sequence. This is a sequence that I like to do a lot of the times first thing in the morning just to get my body moving and ready for the day. Sometimes I'll take parts of this sequence and use it as a warm-up for other types of workouts or higher impact movements that I might be doing. But it's a great sequence to do at any time. Please take it at your own pace. Don't do anything that doesn't feel good in your body, and please work within your own limitations or any injuries you might be working with today. We are going to get started on our back. If you've got a block or two, they're always handy to have. If not, you can always use a big set of books. So we're going to take the block just in between the thighs. Lying down onto your back, bend your knees, bring your feet flat onto the floor. And you can just have your hands by your sides or on the belly, the rib cage, whatever feels good for you here. I like to take my hands onto my body just so I can start to feel my breath from the inside out. So you can close your eyes here. As you inhale, fill up into the belly, the rib cage, and the chest. Exhale, let it go through the mouth, softening chest, ribs, and belly. Again, like that, inhale, filling up. And exhale to soften down. One more breath like that. Can you make it three-dimensional? Inhale, feel the belly, the ribs expand, front, back, side to side. As you exhale, feel everything contract back down towards your center. You can continue with that kind of three-dimensional breath, breathing in and out of your nose now. I'm going to take my arms overhead just so you can really see what my spine is doing here. You feel free to bring your hands to any point that feels good for you. And feet are flat. We're going to be starting with the pelvis, so the place between the low belly button and your pubic bone. Now we're going to just start to find a posterior tilt here. So that's a tuck under with the bum as if you're flattening your low back into the ground. And then come back to a neutral spine. That's just a little arch through the low back. Maybe you could slide a finger or two underneath. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, posteriorly tilt the pelvis, tuck the bum under, push the low back into the floor. And then inhale to just come back to neutral. One more time like that. Exhale, tuck under. And inhale, neutral spine. Now we're going to add on into a little bit more of the mid-back, the thoracic spine. So take an inhale again. As you exhale, start with that tuck of the pelvis. Now you're going to start to flex through the lumbar, through the thoracic spine, slightly lifting the low back, part of the mid-back up off the mat. And then bone by bone there, can you try to lower back down, finding that neutral spine at the bottom. So rather than collapsing in one piece, can you articulate the spine? Take an inhale. Exhale, start to tuck from the pelvis round. Roundedness comes into low back, part of the mid back, not too high yet. Articulate the way down. See if you can lower bone by bone. And now we'll add on a little bit. Take an inhale. As you exhale again, starting with the pelvis tuck, low back, start to roll up through the mid back, maybe more towards the rib cage, keeping that tuck under with the pelvis. And then again, lower. Notice the mid back might want to try to just drop down in one piece. Can you articulate the way down? Harder than it sounds. Take an inhale. Exhale, start to round. So for all of us, we're going to have parts of our spine that are a little bit more stuck, a little bit more rigid. So we're just working here to try to take the spine apart a little bit, piece by piece, noticing where those places are that we need to pay a little more attention to. I'm going to add on, take an inhale. Exhale, start to tuck again. Now this time, keep the tuck as you roll up. Maybe the upper back, the shoulder blades start to lift. And now again, can you articulate the way down? The tailbone isn't touching yet. the very last thing to meet the mat. And then come back to neutral. Really squeeze that block if you've got one. Take an inhale one more time here. Exhale, start to articulate and roll up. Push through the heels. Squeeze your bum. Use your legs to help you find that control. Control the way down without letting those ribs pop. Really slow through the spine, all the way to neutral. Awesome. Arms beside you, palms face up. Now we're going to take this flexion into our cervical spine, so our neck. Keeping the torso where it is, I want you to use your neck muscles. Start to curl your chin into your chest. You're peeling the cervical spine up off of the mat. Maybe the back of the shoulders lift. And then same thing, you're articulating the way down. The back of the head lands last. Again, chin to chest, start to curl up through the neck. Give yourself that double chin. Shoulders lift. And then slowly release down. I want you to feel your neck working. This time we're going to hold it at the top. Chin to chest. Curl the head, the neck up, hold. Now we're going to start to tuck the pelvis under. Lifting through the spine again as we keep that flexion through the neck. Lifting up as high as you can without flaring the ribs. And then bone by bone, keep the neck lifted, but can you lower the spine with that same control, that same articulation? Let your head come down. Very last, relax the neck. We're going to take that one more time. I know it might feel weird, it might feel foreign, just because we've probably never been there before or trained there before. Take an inhale. Exhale, chin to chest. Curl the head up, the back of the shoulders. Now start to curl up through the spine, bone by bone. Can you lift each piece of your spine up as high as you can? Same control on the way down. Try not to drop. Keep the neck lifted. Neutral at the bottom with the pelvis. And let the head come down piece by piece. Woo! Have you had a little turn side to side? Let that go through the neck. Release the block. Maybe windshield wiper the knees. So again, that movement might have felt kind of weird, but our spine is literally what holds us upright all day, every day. And if we're not training it in different ways to act like a spine should be able to, we should be able to articulate it. And that's when you're going to start having back problems, posture issues, especially when we start to get older. I'm going to take the block to the side. Ooh, bring the knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. The knees can be close, they can be wide. You can start to make circles in one direction, just pushing down through the low back and the hips. Noticing how the hip flexors are feeling today. And take the circles in the other direction. And then knees in towards your chest, grab behind your hamstrings, and just start to find a rock and roll up and down the spine. So again, finding that curve, just massaging from the head, the neck, up to the tail. If this doesn't feel good, you can always roll to one side and sit up. We're going to come to a seated position. So crossing your legs, you can do this seated on a block or just on the floor, any position that feels comfortable to you. Okay. Make sure you can really feel your sit bones underneath you. And then I'm just going to face the side for a moment here. For a lot of us, it's really easy to kind of rock back through the pelvis and find that posterior tilt and sit there. If this is happening, that's when I would suggest using that block underneath your sit bones, just so you can rock forward and find a little bit more length through the spine. So that's where we're going to end up. Lifting up here. You can grab a hold of your knees, close your eyes. Just start to come back to your breath. If you'd like to keep your eyes closed to make this movement a little more intuitive, a little bit more internal, feel free to. Just listening to the cues. We're going to take the right ear towards the right shoulder, finding a stretch through the left side of the neck. And then keeping the head tilted, just turn your gaze down towards the right shoulder so your chin is coming towards the right shoulder. And bring the chin to the chest, finding a full circle. And gaze towards your left shoulder. Your eyes are looking there. And then tilt the head, left ear, left shoulder, gazes forward. And come back up through center. Other direction, left ear, left shoulder. Gonna have to press the right shoulder to feel more of a lengthening. Turn your head, gaze towards the left shoulder. And chin to chest, full circle around towards the right. Eyes towards right shoulder. And gaze forward, ear towards right shoulder. And then bring your head up through center. Really nice. And seated nice and tall, we're going to come into our elbows, wrists, and shoulders a little bit here, just starting to warm up. So we're going to start with the elbows. So you can bend them so they're in tucked to the sides of the ribs and make fists with your hands. I'm just going to take my arms out to the sides here so you can kind of see the movement. Now, for a lot of us, we're going to want to use our shoulder. I want you to try to isolate from the elbow, okay? So it might not be as big of a movement as you think, but we're going to let the elbows roll inward so the thumbs are going to face each other. And then we're going to turn the elbows out, palms face the sky. So again, notice as you turn the thumbs forward or towards one another, if your shoulders are rolling inward, can you keep them where they are? And then find that rotation from the elbow joint, one piece. Good. Again, like that. So rolling in through the elbow, finding that rotation. Supinating out. And palms face the sky. One more time. Hold the elbows where they are. Hold the shoulders where they are. And full rotation back through center. Really nice. Now take the arms out at shoulder height. Palms face up. Kind of make blades with the hands. Now keeping the arms lifted, I want you to find a flexion through the elbows. So pulling the fingers towards the shoulders as close as they can, closing that space between bicep and forearm. And then extend the arms all the way back out, really extending through your elbows, straightening your arms. Open the arms out to shoulder height to the side. Keep them at shoulder height. Again, bend the elbows. Pull the palms as close to you as you can. And then extend all the way out. Trying to find length through the elbow joint. Arms come back through center. Try not to pop the rib cage out. Take an inhale. Exhale to find flexion. Keep the elbows lifted as you pull the palms in. Extend out with your inhale. Fully straight elbow. Exhale, carry out to the side. One more time. Inhale, keep the elbows lifted. Squeeze. You're going to feel the biceps work as you curl. And then extend all the way out. Exhale, come back through center. Good. Now keeping the elbows lifted, pull the palms in. And this time grab your shoulders with the fingertips. We're going to start to find some rotation through the shoulder joint here. I want you to start by pulling your elbows towards each other without doming and rounding through the upper back. So it's just a movement in. And then we're going to find that circle down towards the hips. Keep the hands connected to the shoulders, out to the side, maybe a little back, all the way up, around, and in. So full range of motion, full circle here. Notice if the spine, the rib cage tries to take over. Can you move just within that shoulder girdle? Still breathing. Noticing those sticky spots. Let's reverse the action. Keep the fingertips connected. Reach up and out. And don't be afraid to let the shoulders lift. Finding that movement, that depression and elevation. One more time. Really nice. When you get back through center, elbows close, and then you can just let them separate shoulder width apart. Take the arms forward as if you were high-fiving your screen with both hands. So you're going to find active wrist extension here. You're trying to get the fingertips on top of the wrist joints, okay? Spreading the fingers as wide as you can. Keep your elbows nice and straight. You're going to take this position and just flip it in the opposite direction. So fingers reach down. The back of the hands are high-fiving towards the screen. And then reverse. Thumbs stay in the same line. Fingers reach back. And fingers reach down, moving from the wrist joint. One more time each way. Inhale, pull the fingers back, push the palms forward. Exhale, pull the fingers down, backs of the hands forward. Reach the arms straight, make those blades, squeeze the fingertips together. And I want you to try to pull the pointer fingers in towards one another, keeping the arms shoulder width apart. And then reach the pinky fingers as far away from each other as you can, keeping those blade hands. Fingers pull in, warming up through the wrists. Pinky fingers pull away, keep the arms shoulder width. One more time. Really strong arms, shoulders soft. And push. Good, now we're going to combine that. I want you to reach your fingers in. Make a full circle down, out to the sides, around, come to that high five position, and then reverse it, reach out, full circle. We're going to flip the hands, palms face forward still, but fingers point down, a little bit of a different feeling. Pull the fingers in, around, flex, or extend rather, out, in, palms forward, arms straight. One more time. Forearms are feeling it. We're going to hold here with the palms facing forward, fingers up, and now start to open and close through the hands, really getting into those forearms and wrists. Try to keep the arms straight. Try to spread the fingers as wide as you can. I know it's not a comfortable feeling. We're here for 5. A little faster, 4. Fist to spread, 3, 2, and 1. Give your wrists a roll out, bend the elbows, let that go. Take the arms out to the side, pull your thumbs into your palms, wrap your fingers around your thumbs, and then just pull the knuckles forward, just finding a stretch through the forearm. Think about punching through the backs of the hands to either wall. Good. And then let that go. We're going to give our wrists a little bit of a stretch now. So come to tabletop, hands and knees. And now you can do this one hand at a time or both together if that's accessible for you. So we're going to start by flipping the fingers back towards the knees. Again, one hand, or you can add both if that feels okay. And then you play around with sensation. So whatever you need, whatever feels intuitive. You can reach the hips back, pushing the palms down any amount. You can make a cat-cow spine, noticing how that changes the stretch through the forearm. And then come through neutral, one hand at a time, just come back through center with the wrists. Now we're going to take this stretch in the opposite direction. So this one we'll do one at a time. Bring your fingers on one hand back towards your knees and push the back of the hand into the ground. There. So this might be enough. You can always shift the weight a little further back to extend that stretch. But again, for a lot of us who spend time on the computer or on our phones typing, this is going to be a pretty intense stretch through the wrist and forearm. Bring the shoulder on top of the wrist here. I want you to try to make a fist with that hand and then spread the fingers as wide as you can. Make a fist and spread. One more time. Fist and spread. Lean back. Release that hand. You can give the wrist a little bit of a roll. Now switch to the other side. So whatever hand you didn't do, that one flips. Fingers towards you, back of the hand down. Again, play around with where you go. So I may feel a little bit different. We're looking for a stretch that we can breathe into, not one that feels painful. Bring the shoulder over top of the wrist joint. I'm going to make that fist with the hand and spread the fingers as wide as we can. 2 more. Fists really close. and open. Last one. And open. Nice. Sit the hips back. Let that go. Roll that wrist. So now that we've warmed up the wrists, we're going to bring some weight onto them into tabletop. So taking the block, or whatever that block is for you, we're going to take it underneath the right hand. And you're going to kind of grip the block with the fingertips as if you were pushing it away and almost doming the hand. Knees are underneath the hips. Left fingertips are going to come behind the head. Elbow is straight out to the side. We're going to start to find some rotation through the spine here. So keeping the hips where they are. As you inhale, open up through the chest. So twisting through the torso without moving the hips. As you exhale, bring that left elbow across the body and tap it towards the right forearm. Push the block away. Inhale, open up, rotating from the belly button. Exhale to twist all the way to that right arm. 2 more like that. Inhale, keep that elbow wide, moving from the rib cage, not the hips. Exhale to pull all the way across into that counter twist. Try not to sink into the right shoulder. Push the block away. Breathe in. This time as you exhale, reach that left arm up and weave it underneath your right arm. So you're going to start to walk it underneath you as far as you like. You can take that right arm block forward more to find more of a lengthening. Left ear can come down towards the ground. So you're looking for a stretch through the back of the left shoulder here. The more you crawl your left fingers away and your right fingers forward, the more of a stretch you're going to feel. Hips are relaxed back. Send your breath towards your left shoulder blade. And really slowly you can unweave that left arm. Maybe take that extension back up. And just let that arm come down and we'll switch sides. So block underneath the left hand. Make the domes with the fingertips. Grasp the block. Maybe a little bend through this elbow if you're super hyperextended. And then we're going to take the right fingers behind the ears, elbows wide. So imagine your hips were in a lock. They're not shifting or twisting around. The movement is coming from the thoracic spine up to the upper back. Take a full breath in. We're going to inhale to open. And then exhale to pull across into that counter twist, right elbow to left forearm. Inhale to open, push the block away, keep the hips still. Exhale to rotate, move from the belly button all the way across. 2 more. Inhale, elbow wide, let the eyes travel up. Exhale to twist, hips stay where they are. 1 more time. Can you challenge your rotation? Inhale, twist through the spine, push the left hand away. This time lift that arm up, weave the right arm under the left arm, and bring the right ear down. Left arm and block can walk forward. Fingers on both hands can crawl away from you. This time the stretch is targeted towards the right shoulder blade, the right upper back. With the left hand, you might even feel an opening through the left rib cage here, the further you crawl your hands away. And then slowly through center, start to reach that right arm up, find that counter movement, breathe in, and then exhale, let the hand come down. Really nice. We're going to take the block off to the side now. If you're feeling super crazy, you could always put this onto your low spine at any height. And this is just going to be a little bit of feedback for us. So it'll let us know if we're moving through our low spine rather than our shoulder blades, which is what we're going to target next. So finding those domes with the fingertips, hands are right underneath the shoulders. Remember, our shoulder blades are those bony bones on our upper back. We're going to just try to move those here. So a lot of the times when we're trying to move our shoulder blades, our rib cage and our low back are going to try to take over, and that might happen. The block is just there so you can know if you're borrowing the movement from another part of your body instead. So we're going to start with retraction and protraction of the shoulder blades. These are also called scapula push-ups. So pulling the rib cage in, keep the core strong. As you inhale, I want you to think about squeezing the shoulder blades together as if they would tap the spine. And then as you exhale, think about doming through the upper back as you spread the shoulder blades apart. Arms stay straight the whole time. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades in. Exhale, push the floor away. Imagine sliding the shoulder blades around the ribs. Couple more. Inhale, spine stays steady. Exhale to push away, make the upper back wider. One more time. Inhale to squeeze and retract. Exhale to separate, protract. Now we're going to add elevation and depression into the mix, making a full circle. So as you inhale, retract, squeeze the shoulder blades together. As you exhale, elevate, pull the shoulders up towards your ears. Inhale, protract, push the shoulders away. You're still in elevation. Exhale, depress, pull the shoulders back to their starting position. So we retract, inhale. Exhale, elevate, pull the shoulders to the ears. Inhale, protract, spread them apart. They're still elevated. Exhale, depress, pull back to neutral. Can we reverse that? So we will protract first, breathe in. Exhale to depress. Inhale to retract. Exhale to elevate. Protract, breathe in. Exhale, depress. Inhale, retract. Exhale, elevate. Good. Come through neutral, spine long, neck long, and then remove that block if you've got it. So kudos to you if that block didn't fall. If it did, that's totally okay. Again, it's just feedback to let us know where we might need to pay a little bit more attention to in our body. We're going to come to a forearm position all the way onto our belly. So Sphinx pose, you might know it as. So lowering down, elbows are right underneath the shoulders. Feet can be hip width apart or wider if you need that space in the low back. Palms are facing down. So just starting here, feel the shoulder blades pulling back so we're not rolling forward. Think of a light at the center of your chest and you're trying to shine it onto the wall in front of you. You can squeeze your glutes slightly here to help protect through the low back, help with spinal extension. Just tap back into your breath if you lost it at all through that previous sequence. I'm going to take this into Sphinx rolls. So finding that same spinal articulation that we did when we were lying on our back. So take a full breath in here. As you exhale, start with your chin. Curl your chin into your chest. Pull up through the chest, the rib cage, the belly, the hips, until you end up in a modified plank position on the knees. And then you reverse that, lowering thighs, hips, belly, chest, head comes up last. When you get to the top, notice where the shoulders are. Keep pulling them back in space. Take an inhale. Exhale to curl chin to chest. Peel your body up bone by bone. You want to feel your front core working to help you lift the hips in line with the shoulders. Lower with that same control, moving through the spine. Squeeze your glutes. Pull your chest forward, shoulders back. One more time, full inhale. Exhale to curl and round. Think about the front core working. Lift the hips up, slight protraction through the shoulder blades here. Option to tuck the toes under. Lift the knees up into full forearm plank. Try to keep the hands separated and push the floor away through the forearms. We're here for 5. Squeeze your bum. 4. Eyes forward slightly. 3. Belly in. 2. On 1, tap the knees down. Lower all the way down this time. Bring your right ear to the mat. Let the arms drop back behind you and just find belly rest. Really try to stamp your whole right ear onto the mat if you can. Finding that stretch through the side of the neck. Then pick your head up, bring the left ear down, look in the opposite direction. Notice which side of the neck feels a little bit more uncomfortable to put weight on. Let the shoulders round forward. And then forehead back through center. We're going to keep the forehead down onto the mat and take the hands underneath the shoulders like you would for low cobra. Feet pressed down, tops of the feet pressed down into the ground. Glutes are active. I'm just going to keep my forehead lifted here so you can hear my voice a little bit better, but feel free to leave yours down on the mat. We're going to be focusing on the shoulders and the upper back again here. So keeping the wrists extended as they are, retract the shoulder blades, squeeze them together, elbows pull in. Now try to hover the hands up as high as you can off the mat, keeping those shoulder blades retracted. Do your best to clear the floor here. Without touching the ground, can you reach the fingertips back, keeping the wrists extended as if you were high-fiving the wall behind you? And then reverse that. Keep the shoulder blades retracted as you pull your hands back to that hovering low cobra. Couple more. Reach back. Try to reach back without touching the ground. And then pull through center. Keep those elbows hugging in. One more time. Legs are strong. Pull back, retract the shoulders, extend the wrists. Now this time try to lift your head and chest up. Arms stay in the same position. Maybe add the legs, squeezing the bum, hugging in through the inner thighs. We're here for 3. Arms extend. 2 and 1. Let that go. Hands come right away under the shoulders. You can either push yourself back into a child's pose, so that's hips to heels. Arms can be forward or back, knees together or apart. If you'd like more of a heart opener, you have the option to come into puppy pose with or without a block. So hips are going to be right over top of the knees like tabletop. Walking the arms really far forward. You can use a block on the chin or forehead, or you can remove the block and come right down to the ground. So it's a pretty big opener through the underarms, the chest, the ribs. Make sure that wherever you are in this shape, you can still breathe deeply. And if you're in puppy pose, really slowly start to just round yourself up, kind of counter. Pull your knees in closer. We'll all meet in a wide-legged child's pose. In child's pose, walk your hands over to the left. They can come off the mat. Right hand can stack over left hand, and forehead can release down. Just finding an opening through the side of the rib cage. Maybe it travels from the hip right up to the underarm. And that's where you're sending your breath. And then take it to the other side. Hands can walk off the mat. Left palm stacks over right. Forehead relaxes down. Think about creating more space between your left middle finger and your tailbone. Really reaching in opposite directions to get the full extent of the stretch. Amazing. Walk your hands through center. We're going to come into downward facing dog. Grip the mat with the fingertips. Tuck the toes under. Lift your hips high. Find some movement in down dog if you like. Pedaling the heels. Finding some length through the hamstrings and the calves. And keep looking back at your toes. Walk your hands to your feet, back of the mat. Bending at the knees. I want you to think about that posterior tilt through the pelvis, tucking the bum under. Bone by bone, can you articulate your spine as you roll up,
stacking the spine, shoulders, and then head come up last, finding a neutral spine at the top. So when you get there, you can come to about the middle of your mat. Feet are about hip-width distance apart. Really spread wide through the toes and take up lots of surface area here. If you've got any back sensitivity and you want to take your feet a little bit wider, please feel free to. We're going to start with the hands on the back here, pinky fingers close, elbows pulling in tight. Using your legs to help you, pull up the thighs, the glutes, and think about lifting out of your pelvic floor. As you inhale, high release, chest towards the sky, shoulder blades squeeze together. Then we're going to come into the opposite feeling, opposite movement. Slide the hands down the sides of the legs. You're going to grip the hamstrings. I want you to tuck the bum under, curl through the spine, chin to chest, elbows pull out wide. Then you slide the hands back up the sides of the legs to the low back, pinkies close. Inhale to open. Use your legs to help power your back bend. Exhale to curl, opposite feeling, opposite sensation, round and pull. One more time. Inhale to open, find length, push through the feet, lift through the chest. Exhale to curl, tuck the bum, pull the elbows apart. And slowly come back up through center, stack the spine, neutral at the top. I'm going to face front here so you can see. We're going to take that movement and add a little bit more onto it, starting with the side body. So as you inhale, reach the arms up overhead. As you exhale, take the right arm down towards your right side. Little bend in the knees. You're going to start to crawl the right fingers down the right leg. Left arm reaches over into a side bend. And then slide all the way back up, right arm overhead. Take an inhale, reach up. As you exhale, left fingers crawl down left thigh, reach over towards that left wall. And inhale to reach back up. One more each way. Exhale, right arm falls, side bend over, feel the length. Inhale, reach up, core engaged. Exhale to side bend. You determine the sensation you feel with the depth of your stretch. Inhale to reach up. Now let's add on. Exhale, right hand falls. Start with that side bend. Now this time we're going to find a diagonal line with the body. So pulling that left arm across slightly. Think of a contraction through the ribs. Come back to that side bend and pull yourself all the way up using the strength of the core. Take an inhale to lift. Exhale, left hand lowers. Crawl down as you side bend. Pull across to that diagonal line contraction. Come back through center and reach all the way up. Take an inhale, let's add on. Exhale, right hand to right leg, side bend. Diagonal line contraction, pull across. Now add a full circle, however that looks for you, through center. We're taking it towards the left wall. Find that diagonal contraction before your side bend. And then lift all the way up, both arms. Take an inhale, reach up. Exhale, left arm falls down. Crawl through the hands, diagonal contraction. Full circle around. Find the diagonal on the other side. To side bend. All the way up. Good, take your feet slightly wider. Let's take this movement a little bit bigger. Doesn't have to be so stuck. You can make it more into a circular free movement. Right hand falls. Side bend into that curve all the way across, around, and up. Both arms. Inhale, reach. Exhale, side bend. Curve around, other side. One more each way. Breathe in. Exhale to let it go. Inhale, lift. Last time, make it a little bigger, make it a little more free, a little more loose. And lift up. Take your feet back to hip width. Bend through the knees. We're going to let that go through the spine. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, find a swing. Curl the spine. Let the arms move back. Double bounce the knees. Breathe in, stand up. Exhale to swing. So we keep that movement going. Elbows relax. Wrists, shoulders, all of the joints here. The spine, the neck. Everything is heavy. The knees catch you. Inhale lifts you up. Exhale, you let go. Don't be afraid to breathe through the mouth. Couple more here. A little more dynamic. Last one. When you get to the top, breathe in. Arms fall to your sides. Breathe out. Loop the shoulders to your ears. Inhale. Sigh, let it go. Awesome. At the back of your mat, feet again hip width distance apart here. Take an inhale, reach the arms up overhead. As you exhale, waterfall down with a tall spine, folding over your legs towards the floor. You can use blocks under your hands. You can bend your knees, just finding a little bit of a hamstring stretch here. Forward fold. You can move the weight from side to side. Let the head relax. Give your neck a shake. Yes and no. And then walking your hands out slightly. Bend your knees and just tap your knees to the floor. We're going to finish off a little bit more passively with just some passive twists on the back. So if you've got your block, you can grab a hold of it here. Bringing it in between the knees. This is really good for the spine, any low back issues we might have. And it also just feels really good. So lie all the way onto your back. You can choose elbows cactus, bent, or arms straight into a big T. I'm going to shift the hips a little over to the right and let the knees just fall up and over to the left. Eyes can come over that right shoulder, so you're finding, again, a little rotation through the neck. This is just super passive through the spine. We're not forcing anything. But do make sure that it feels good. So there's no pain. You can bring your knees further away from you or closer. Adjust them to a place that feels comfortable. And focus on slowing your breath down. Still breathing in and out of the nose, but maybe a little bit more naturally now. With your next inhale, pull your knees back through center. I'm going to take the feet flat to the floor and then shift the hips over opposite direction. So hips to the left, knees come up and over to the right. Eyes can look over that left shoulder. Feet are stacked. The block is there to create that space through the low back. I'm going to bring the shoulders down. So the neck has lots of space to twist here. And then check in with your jaw, your teeth, your forehead. Are you clenching anywhere? Are you holding on to unnecessary tension? And with your next breath in, use your core strength to help you pull your knees back through center. Take your feet down, just remove that block off to the side. Now from here, taking your feet taking your feet a little further from you, knees fall wide, soles of the feet together for a passive cobblers. If you like to use the block and place it onto your belly, or underneath, if you have two underneath the thighs for a little bit of support, you can. The further your feet are from you, the more passive this will be for the hips. Try to let your glutes relax. Just like gravity, take the knees away from each other. And every inhale, you feel the belly, the rib cage expand, lifting the block up. And every exhale, the belly button softens, the block falls closer to the floor. Make 2 more deep breaths. Maybe even letting a sigh go through the mouth.
just removing any props you might have. Grab a hold of the outsides of the knees and just squeeze them together gently. Knees come back towards the chest, wrap the arms around the shins or under the hamstrings and give yourself a hug. If it feels good in the neck, you can even curl your head up off the floor. Find that tight little ball. And then let it go. And roll over onto one side and just press yourself up into a seated position, nice and slowly. Again, whatever that comfortable seat looks like for you. Just connect together with one last final breath. Take an inhale, reach your arms all the way up overhead. Exhale, seal your hands at your heart. Thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to be here, to show up on your mat and do something that's so good for your body. If you enjoyed the video, I hope you can subscribe to my channel, and I will be posting more shortly. Have a great day.